You're about to go on a radio safari through the Roosevelt Park Zoo in Minot. Radio Safari being brought to you by Dakota Square Arco, Rick's Jewelry, downtown Minot, and by Dakota Pawnbrokers. We're joined today by Dr. Logan, who is a veterinarian here at the Roosevelt Park Zoo. And Logan, first of all, tell me, what got you interested and involved in being a veterinarian?
So I've always wanted to be a veterinarian ever since I was about 7 years old. I was notorious for grabbing injured rabbits and trying to fix their legs with popsicle sticks and so forth. So it's always just been a dream of mine. And as I've gotten older, I've been able to experience other opportunities, small animal, exotics. I've been able to go to Africa and work there as a veterinarian, so it's just kind of grown from there, and then I got the opportunity to be the veterinarian here at the Roosevelt Park Zoo.
Where did you go to school, and how long has it been since you finished up school?
Yeah, so I went to school at Colorado State, and that's where I graduated vet school. That was back in 2017, so it's been about 7 years or so, and I still enjoy the profession.
So how long have you been here at Roosevelt Park Zoo?
I've been here since 2019.
And on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis, what do you kind of do every day at the zoo here?
There isn't a typical day at the zoo. Depending on what the day might be, it might be full of meetings, but then the next day I might be taking care of a poison dart frog. And then later in that afternoon, I might be looking at a giraffe. So it kind of varies depending on everything, and I kind of treat every single animal a little bit different. I might be working, like I said, working on something that weighs 5 grams. That weighs less than a pencil, and then I might be working on a giraffe or a bison.
I would imagine that you have to bring into every day a lot of different things. You think of, regular veterinarians that have a practice. Maybe they're working with small animals, or maybe they're working with, farm animals, things like that. Like you mentioned, you have all kinds of stuff here at the zoo, from little to big and from everywhere in the world, it seems like.
Yeah, it's challenging sometimes. We do use a lot of our information, a lot of our skills of being a small animal veterinarian or being that livestock veterinarian, because we like to compare. A house cat is pretty much the same thing as a lion. It's just instead of being 8 pounds, you're dealing with something that's 400 pounds, right? But we do have our challenges. Like I said, you might be having to deal with a little tiny bird or a little tiny frog, and how can you run anesthesia on that animal? And you have to be creative at everything that you do, and you have to kind of be a MacGyver sometimes.
Well, I would imagine that you also get to be involved in some pretty amazing things that happen here. Just recently this spring, you had the birth of the cubs, right?
Yeah, it was something that we had always planned for, but then it's one of those, it's kind of a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, even for us who do it on a day-to-day basis, of going in, having to do an emergency C-section, and being able to come out of that with the success of Jakaya, and she's doing great, and she's running around on exhibit.
So what would be one of the most rewarding parts of your job?
It sounds corny, but the most rewarding part is seeing the happy faces of all the kids. That just kind of helps regenerate my battery and make sure that what I'm doing actually matters, and that kids are enjoying that and being able to make these connections.
On the opposite end, what would be one of the most challenging things of being a veterinarian at a zoo?
Never having a day off. It's probably, we do what we do because we love it. And it's one of those old sayings that if you love what you do, you're never working a day in your life kind of a thing. And I don't mind it, that I might be technically off, but I'm getting some phone calls and things like that.
So what would be one thing that somebody would be amazed at about your job as a veterinarian if you told them?
It's different things of being able to take a challenging situation, like how do you intubate a snake or things like that, and you just have to sometimes, once again, create some tools, because there aren't tools out there that you can just go through a catalog and creating those things, or buying those things.
All right. Dr. Logan is the veterinarian here at Roosevelt Park Zoo. Thanks for filling us in on your job a little bit today.
Thank you.
Join us again next time for another Radio Safari.